let's dive into recruiting signing day. So 13 total prospects. Now, it was not, the fireworks that we were expecting with the Buffs. It was not, I think we were all kind of thinking by year, what is this? Is this year 3 recruiting, right? Or is this the 4th offseason? I can't remember because he came 3 years ago.
This technically would be the 4th
offseason. So I thought that they'd be further along with high school players, right? All the, those programs that you see outside of Texas Tech that are dominating they build those pieces, in the high school, have them in their program, build them up, and then they use the other ones as supplemental. They use the portal for like, okay, we need this, and supplement a little bit. Whereas Colorado, it is just, and I don't know if this was the plan. I've heard this was the plan all along to just kind of recruit, 13 to 17, 18 high school players and then fill the rest of the roster out with portal players. I mean, well, you heard anything around that, Miles? Or
no? I mean, the standalone like mantra from what I've understood is they only want guys who want to be here and they only want guys that can play on day one. I mean, like you look at the classes prior to this and they thought they had a couple of guys that were going to be contributors year 1, year 2, year 3. And by year 3, they don't hit the field. They haven't progressed at all. And I think that's like, they're shifting their focus to specific spots of need and guys that are ready to go on day one. It stinks. Like, for example, you bring in a guy like Mantrez Walker and he's out within a year. Like that's a really hard one to swallow. But at the end of the day, you hit on guys like London Merritt and McPherson and I see that as a win at the end of the day. Yep. If you can get a couple of guys out of every class that you really hit on,
yep.
I don't care if you bring in 10 of them. I don't care if you bring in 30 of them. All I care is about the 5 to 8 that you really, are diamonds in the rough.
Yep. And, I know a couple years ago, was it last off season that Prime, they're asking Prime because, well, we're going to hit the portal and we're going to hit it hard. And someone asked, well, why is that? Because you lose 50% of them within the first 2 years anyway. Like, why are we going to go spend all these resources here and here? Right. And it was just kind of, well, yeah, you got a point. And, it is, it's around 50% now, right? At every university now.
Yeah.
So I get it completely. But let's jump into this though. 13 total prospects. So I'm going to put this up. So here are your Colorado signing day commitments. These are the players that are signed on the left, committed. So we were talking about Brennan Marion, about what he can bring to the Buffs. And as you guys can see here, let me move these comments out of the way. So Xavier McDonald, he is one that was committed to Sac State, and Brennan Marion is able to bring him over with him. He decommitted, that day and signed with the Buffs a couple days ago. So he's a Buff 4-star wide receiver. And then if you look at all the players that were signed, so I'll go through the stars. DeMonte Pecco Jr., Preston Ashley, Alexander Ward. So those are 4 stars. And then Carson Crawford. So on 3, he's a 3-star. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and go find the higher star grade. Mm-hmm. So Carson Crawford on 24/7 is a 4-star. And then you see the rest. Now, a big one was Christian Ward and where's our other guy? The Ward brothers. So they got them both, Alexander Ward and Christian Ward. I can't remember which one it was that is reclassified because one should be going into their senior year of high school. But they, since I can't remember which one it is, but one of them should be doing that. They committed early and decided to enroll early this year and forgo their senior year in high school to get on to the Colorado team with their brother. And the younger one plays cornerback and wide receiver. So,
yeah, Alex is the one that reclassified. Perfect. So you have those 2 brothers in, and again, everyone's like, "Oh, it's our next Travis Hunter." It's like, guys, please stop doing that to these kids. Like, that is a one-of-one dude. I don't even know if we're ever going to see a Travis Hunter at any university in our lifetime. So please stop doing that. For one. But I think those were some pretty, it ended pretty well with these 3. Still a couple offers out there I know of. What did you think of the class, Miles? Overall, I think one of the things that people need to remember is it's really hard to get high-level players to commit to your university when you have a season like you just did. I was really bummed out. I thought Gavin Mueller was a guy that, I really when they got him as a 3-star and then he got bumped up. I really was hoping he would stick around. But overall, I mean, like you bring in a couple of trench players, a couple of line that was really good. Linebackers, I think the linebackers that they brought in are going to be some pretty hidden gems, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Couple corners, couple receivers. I think overall it's a strong class of guys who want to be here. I think you have a guy like Preston Ashley who is going to be the leader of that class, who's going to come in and really want to be a buff for the long haul. And then I love me some big O linemen, want to eat, want to play dirty. So I'm not too worried about it. I think that again, with a season like we just had, you do have like a level. There's not going to be a bunch of high school kids who can turn 3-9 to 9-3. So you get the guys that want to be here, the guys that you really want to hit on and you think have a lot of potential. And then you round out the roster with the more experienced guys that can come in and play on day one.
Nope, I agree with you. And yeah, and I think too, what's different about this class, and you were hitting on it, was that offensive line, right? You see these different, right? They really, really went after that, right? So you have, here we go. Xavier Payne, Bangula, Josiah Manu. You have those three, and there was one more we're missing somewhere. Maybe it's underneath there, but there should be one more in there. But those offensive linemen, you're not going to find a ton of those guys in the portal. So this was just you have to hit on those guys. You have to recruit offensive line and defensive line. There's not many of those dudes like that in the portal. It is very hard to build your offensive line, your trenches in the portal. So I think there was an emphasis on that. I know they got a couple decommitments. So what is it? Payne, Gula, Manu. I thought there was one more. Am I missing?
I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Did they have one decommit? I know that, or maybe they were after one, but
they had Emmanuel Ruffin was a D line.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any other O line.
He committed and then after his visit and decommitted a couple weeks later. I think
I never thought he was going to be a buff from day one.
It was weird, that whole thing. Yeah. But rankings, they were ranked 60th in the country. So they were going in as like the 95th, 96th, and then 12th in the Big 12 overall. So now I think here's the part, though. They have an 87.62 average rating. It ranks 5th in the Big 12. So they are going after more of the high-end players, like we talked about in the high school ranks. So when you do something like that, again, these are kids that they're hoping they hit on and guys that are going to be seeing the field next year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I also think Alex Ward, for example, they wouldn't, I don't want to say that they pressure guys to reclassify, but they thought Juju was ready. So they brought him up because he could. I think they probably see the same in Alex and they think that he can come over earlier. I think a late flip, like a Braylon Edwards, that was really surprising. I don't know about you. I didn't hear anything about that in advance. But that bolsters your secondary a little bit more. And again, I think you have a couple leaders in this class. I think Carson Crawford's going to be a really good player as well. And I'm not overly worried about it because when I look at that list from top to bottom, I'm like, everybody on this list is a talented ball player and they want to be here. So I'm not overly worried about it. I think the majority of those kids will stay around for a couple of years too.
Yep, I agree. And I think, one of the big ones when they offered Braylon Edwards, I was like, thank God, because that's a kid, this is, I don't know how that guy's a 3-star. To me, he should be a 4, but whatever happened tonight, it does seem like he wanted to be a buff. So he was kind of holding out a little bit, declining other offers, those kind of things. But I'm pumped that he's a buff. This kid is going to have a big career for Colorado. In my opinion, just, Duncanville, Texas, that is a high level high school football in the state of Texas. So I am, I'm thrilled for this kid.
100%. And these are all positions of need. I would have loved to see some D-line being mixed in a little bit more. But overall, you hit on spots that you needed to. And again, I'm hoping that they actually produce on the field as well.
Right. Yeah. And I know the transfer portal, the portal, whether this was the plan or not, you are going to have to get in there, spend money, and you're going to have to hit if you want to be competitive next year. And again, I think what it seems like is now that's the plan. That is where everything's shifting towards. This portal is I think they're going to have a big portal class. What do you think, Miles?
Yeah, I think this is one of those topics that I feel like people don't read between the lines enough about. You think back to what happened this last year, and I don't think that there were bad players on this team. I think that there were players that didn't mesh well together, and I think there were players that were more interested in money than they were in actual being a Colorado Buffalo. And I think it's really hard. People very much underestimate how hard it is to get good players to come to your team when your head coach is not in the building. And that's not to say that like it's Dion's fault or anything, but like you bring guys in, you can sell them on Boulder, you can sell them on Pat Shermer and Rob Livingston and you know all these guys, these assistant coaches. But like if you don't have your head coach there, you don't really see a lot of like what you're really coming for. And they missed on guys that were really important. But at the end of the day, like it's Corey Phillips' job, it's Coach Box's job to bring in talent, and that's what they tried to do. I don't think that they have the ability to overrule any of those decisions. Like if they wanted to get the number 1 D tackle in Boulder, you know, in Jaheim Otis, who they're not going to go out there and be like, I don't know if he's really bought into football. We're not going to bring him in. They're bringing in the talent that they can on paper. It's coach's job. It's Coach Prime's job to say, I don't know if he fits our system. I don't know if he fits our culture. So they brought in guys that they thought were going to be good. Now I think they have the resources from what I've heard. They've got the head guy who's there and eager to bring in, you know, the top talent to right this ship. And then they've got coaches that are willing to go out and recruit. So I'm super excited. I think they're going to be big time players, and I think they're going to bring in those talented guys that they're going to need for next season.
Yep, absolutely. And I think this portal is going to be huge. I'm excited for it. You know, again, you know, January 2nd through January 16th. There's that 2 weeks there, right? They have 2 weeks there. And again, you know, I think right now it's so-and-so's entered the portal. Everyone just trying to keep up with it. So it is massive. And again, guys, if you want to follow the portal, what I'm going to tell you guys is this is a new website that I found that I've been using. It's transferportal.network. It is fantastic. It's analytical driven. Check it out. Again, it's transferportal.network, but it is a fantastic website. Check it out. They have everything, you know, if you're looking for, and I believe they have the PFF grades on there, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure, you know, career snaps on there. It is, it is. That is what I've been using. You know I like On3 24/7. I like using those, but this, and Maz, if you ever transferportal.network, it is fantastic. So check that out. But I do think the Buffs are going to, I don't think they have a choice at this point, right? They're going to hit. And again, like you said, from what you heard, there's going to be some money, more money. And again, I've heard the same as well. So yeah, we'll see what they can get done this offseason. They got about a month now, a little less than a month to start getting things in order and ready to attack the portal.
Yeah. I think like, I look back on last portal and like, for example, if you remember like Harrison Taggart, the BYU linebacker, they were in a battle with Cal.
Yeah.
I think you win that one if you have Dion in the building. I think, the safety from Purdue that went to Oregon, like Thiedemann or something, whatever his name was.
Real good player. Yep.
Yeah. They were in his contention too. I think you're going to have a much better chance having your head coach there. I think the question that still remains for me is like, we personally don't know who's still in the building. We don't know if they're swapping some guys out, they're bringing in new staff. But at the end of the day, I trust them. And I think I've already seen a good amount of guys in there that you probably see my tweets underneath where I'm like, this is what we need, Yep. So I think it's going to be fruitful to say the least. But I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to just finding guys that fit your culture and what you're trying to build, as opposed to just like the guys that rank the highest.
Yep. And I think they got a little carried away with that last year.